Okay. All right. Okay, hello everybody. I don't know who, sorry. I don't know if anyone is here yet. Oh shoot, you know what I did not grab? Hold on, 1 second. Hold on, I'm grabbing something. Ah, crap, where'd it go? There it is. I'm just blind, it's fine. Just blind, it's fine and perfectly normal apparently. It's fine. Okay. All right. I don't know how many people are going to view this. Let's get that off my desk. Apparently I had like 10 minutes to prepare and didn't do anything other than, well, didn't do anything apparently. Okay. So, let's turn down a little bit. Okay. So, I was just, it's very difficult to find a tutorial on YouTube about the thing that you want to freaking, to find. And it's always that one specific thing you're looking for that just seems like it doesn't exist. Why? No freaking idea. Anyways, I was just browsing YouTube and I was trying to find some other things with this mic in particular. So if you noticed, it's in a little bit different position than last time, because last time it was in, let's see, yeah, it was in this position, and as you can probably tell, I need to pick that up a little bit. There you go. Nope. Work with me. There we go. That's a bit better. Anyways, should I stand up? Would it be nicer just to stand up? Probably. Gosh, I'm so unprepared. What the hell's wrong with me? Hello. And now that's really high. Although the desk is pretty high. Let's see. Right about there. Is that about good? I think that's pretty good. Okay. All right, let's get back to display. Okay, save that. That should be good. Okay. So, one of the things that I had come across is basically people talk about this microphone. Like, this is a legendary microphone. It's been around for years. Now, there's been a couple, I guess, revisions you could say, but just updates that doesn't really do anything. So I always thought it was so frustrating when I would go to try and find a tutorial on it on YouTube or whatever, and I can't find anything. So what I was originally talking about with the different area, like where it's at, is I like, okay, don't get me wrong, I like having it up and out of the way. Like up here is nice since it comes down, but my issue is it just looks in the way. And I don't know if that's just me, but this, it's kind of blurry. This it just looks in the way. And I don't know why, but it just does. So what I did is instead, it comes up right in front of me. You can't really see the arm. Now, if I bring it up a little bit, you can see the base of the arm, and there it is. But now this is in more of like a kind of directly in front of me. So it's not as super nice on the desk, but I think it looks better. More of like a podcast style or something you could say. Now, here's the other thing. You notice that the windscreen's different, okay? This whole thing comes off. Now, I don't know if you can tell, but you can probably hear that my S's and just there's a little bit more detail in the high end, and that's with taking off the foam. So normally what you get in the box, I'm going to talk with this, I'm going to try not to blow too much air into it. What you get in the box, so here's the box. This is the outside. This is the outside of the box. You open it up. Normally, the microphone sits in here. This is a little manual and stuff, a little sticker and Velcro tie that I forgot was in there. So that's what you get. And then right over here, this little bag is normally where this sits. So this is actually the stock windscreen. And don't get me wrong, I do like the look of the normal windscreen, but, and as you can probably tell with my P's and T's and any kind of air out of my mouth, especially being this far away. Now here's something really not talked about that I've ever seen online. Okay. And this is actually something that I deal with doing the sound stuff at my church. Now, it's not that bad, but hear that? I'm just blowing ever so slightly into the front of it. And because, and if I laugh, that's funny. You hear that? Now, man, that's really funny. You hear how it's not really the same sound. Okay. I don't know the science behind it. I think it just has to do with the way the air comes out of your mouth. I have no idea why. I don't know. But basically, when you're farther away from the mic versus it may seem a little bit louder, the actual like almost P sound. This sounds weird, but the actual air is way louder from back here. So if, well, that was rude. 1 second. My headphones just decided to die. Hold on. That's not even the right side. I haven't worn these in a while, actually. I am so sorry. Yeah, it goes something like that. There we go. Okay. That's, nope. Oh, come on. Okay. There we go. Sorry about that. That was not planned. Should have checked that before I went live. Okay. So I like the look of this. And it's possible that I might stick with this. But just that alone, I cannot stand the sound of that. And I know it doesn't bother everyone. Like, not everyone is I wouldn't call myself an audiophile. But I enjoy nice audio. And that's something I've always tried to perfect as much as I could with my own setup. Yeah, you hear the end of that? That right there. And especially if it's like, some people have it like right in front of them like this. And I'm not even breathing that hard. And just because, yeah, that P's and T's and all those plosives and stuff are just so loud. Now, normally, having it off axis like this, or even like this, is you can do that. Like, that's something that you can do. And it might be something that I do. But if I want to have the most direct sound, because if I look over here versus looking over here, there's a big sound difference. Okay. Now, about as high as I can have it is probably about there. About there. If you want to have this look, this kind of the traditional look of it, then you want to use it off axis. So right here is straight on, and it's like over here. So I would say it's probably about 35 degrees off my mouth. And so what that would look like straight on is like this. That's what it would look like straight on. Also, where you put the microphone height wise matters. So if I have it pointed down more, this will have a little bit of a different sound versus this. This has a little bit of a different sound. I don't know if you can hear it. I can barely hear it in my headphones, but there is a difference in sound. Now you notice when I move it, that's just handling noise. Like when I bump the desk, it's not that bad. It's mainly just because I have more bass put in there. If I take that out, which would sound like this. Yeah, this is the stock sound. Do I have the same compression? One moment. 2615. .635. 35. Okay, so this with the same de-esser. Well, actually, let's take the de-esser out. So this is just with compression. Now, in my headphones, what I'm hearing sounds kind of like a old-timey radio in my voice. Now, getting it right on here, like this is normally where you'd want to be from the microphone in like a podcast or something like that. Now, it doesn't sound that bad. My S's are just too harsh. Okay, so if I were to take the de-esser, let me share my screen. Okay, I take the de-esser. Let's make this big here. And let me also grab my audio and put it right down there so you can see it. Okay, so what you're going to want to watch for is this one, chat mic. That's this mic raw. Well, it's without all the other stuff. So the mic aux is here. It's got the music in it. So pay attention to the second one here. Okay. So it's balanced. Like it's up right around -15 to -5. That's about where you want to have it. That's good. You don't really want to go any higher than that because then you're risking peaking. Now, turning the de-esser up to 50. See how that takes a lot of the harshness out of my S's versus having it at 0. That's got a lot of harshness in my S's. Now, a big culprit to that is the compressor. Okay. if I were to get the mic gain back up to where it's about, yeah, you can hear it when it's peaking there. Hear that? So this is with zero compression, and I want to make sure. Yeah, what is this one? Yeah, 48. 48, yeah, that's all the same. Nothing has changed here. This is the raw sound from the microphone. This is with zero compression. And see how my S's are not that sibilant stuff? Because the thing about S's and T's in sibilants is decibel wise. I'm going to switch back to here. You can hear, so you can hear me a little better. Decibel wise, they are not as loud. So if you take, and let me switch back and pay attention to chat mic, okay? I'm going to do an A sound, and then I'm going to do an S sound. You hear that? Now, in your ears, that may not be a big difference in sound, but when you add compression, basically it takes those S's and boosts them up decibel-wise on those meters, these little meters down here. It like boosts them up really high. And then with... especially with a really fast release, you get a lot of harshness. So, back on this one, if we took the compressor all the way up and now pay attention right here. It's sitting about around -15. Now, I don't know if you can hear it, but those S's sound super loud and like piercing, right? That's what it does. It's just a certain way that, it works, that it just kind of cuts through everything. It's very annoying. It is very annoying. So with the compressor, and this is a big thing with the compressor, is your release. Okay. So this is with it here, so it's definitely compressing right now. I'm gonna put the release at 0. Now my T's and stuff and mixing with my vowels are very apparent. Now let's crank that up to like 340. Can you hear the difference? It may sound a little bit warmer. It may sound a little smoother or something, you could say. But for me, it kind of... Now I'm going to listen back to this in post and might eat my own words, but from what I've listened to, it cuts down on a lot of my clarity. It just leaves so much not out there because it can't open up quick enough to get that in. So I have mine down at about 35. And I think that gives a nice sound. Personally, if you want to do a more broadcasty style sound, like a podcast or a radio sound, they usually don't have a very high release. It's usually pretty low, because when they're talking, you know how like if you put it up in a like audio software or something, it's like everything's at the same level. That means the release is pretty low, because normally if your vowels are up here and your S's are down here, when it's compressing, okay, so imagine it's like a 10-to-1 ratio. That's super high, but just imagine, and it's set to, oh, what would that be? So maybe it's set to -20, okay, a 10-to-1 ratio. So anything above that will be compressed. 10 decibels above that will be compressed to 1 decibel. I think I'm saying this right, hopefully. So imagine without the compressor, your A is hitting -10. With that compressor, now it's bringing down to -19. But if you say as, not ass, but as, what it does is, because there's a difference in sound normally, because it can't release quick enough, you're at, and then it brings everything down, and then takes a little bit for it to bring the quiet parts back up to where it's not compressed. If that makes sense, it's a little complicated, but with a fast release, it basically like, and comes right back down. Like the compressor goes away immediately. Well, not immediately, but pretty quickly. Whereas if it's still in compression phase, it's also compressing below, because it compresses everything. So it's not just anything above -20. Whenever anything goes above -20, it takes everything and brings it down. So that top is at -19 for a 10-to-1. So that means that your S's with a very slow release would be down -9 decibels approximately. With a fast release, it's brought back up pretty quickly because the compressor releases quickly. So my floor is creaking a little bit. Anyways, so back to kind of what I was talking about with the no windscreen. Without a windscreen, this is what you would want to use for like recording vocals. And I mean like for singing. Now you can use the foam windscreen, but a good pop filter will pretty much always work better than a foam windscreen. They just will. So normally, please bring pizza, please. I just tried to say something and completely forgot what it was. Anyways, those P's are very plosive because there's nothing here. So the capsule's like right in here. Now, with this, P. You notice how there's a difference when I get farther away? Now we put the thicker one on there, which should have more foam. And you might notice that it's not as crispy. So, not as bad, is it? So this way, I can have it down, turned, up a little bit, about there. So it's right in front of me. It's right in front of me. I don't have to worry about the P's because it doesn't really, there's not a whole lot of plosives. So I don't have to worry about that. And here's the other thing. If you don't need video, put this on here. Either put it on here or get a other, circle, like a circle windscreen or a circle pop filter. Because unless you need that super high crispiness for a podcast where you take everything off and use the normal pop filter, put this on here. Because most of the time for a podcast, you're going to be about like this. So it's picking up every part of your voice and all that stuff. So you don't have to worry how it looks. You don't have to worry about it covering up your mouth because there is no video. In this way, you can have the gain lower, which I'll talk about in a second. You can have the gain lower, so it's not, because if you're back here, imagine you're back here, you need to turn up the gain a whole lot, and it picks up a bunch of room noise or other noises. Whereas if you're right here, you don't really hear these other noises happening around me that much. So for me, let's get it down and up. This is about where I want it. I definitely prefer the smaller one for looks. If you're all about looks, get it not completely in front of you. But if you want to go for the best performance for plosives, like performance is kind of a weird term, but you'd want to use the thick one. Hi, Clyde, by the way. I did see your message. I was just continuing to talk for a second. So that's why I switched to this. And because I can use EQ and I don't want a ton of crispiness, because I don't really need all that detail for streaming, because it's not super, like YouTube isn't like a super high quality or super high audio quality website. Like their audio quality is fine, but it's not anything crazy. And I actually noticed that when it comes to my stream audio, it actually sounds different Like if I use my little sample pad to like, if I need to record something, it would sound like this. If I need to record something, it would sound like this. That sounds different when I listen back to it on YouTube with the same headphones, with the same setup. I don't know why. I think it just has to do with their compression thing, because the way compression works with audio most of the time, especially something that's not like super, like a very good compression, is for just kind of all around okay, like MP3 or something like that, then it takes okay, that was weird, sorry. Are you okay down here? Hold on a second. It's being weird on me. That sounds weird. Are we good now? Jeremiah, hello. And it's disconnecting again. What the hell are you doing? Are we good now? Hello? Is my headphones going to disconnect again? Hopefully not. What was I even talking about? Anyway. Okay, so with the gain, this is, oh my god, this irritates me to no end. Also, yes, I am Clyde's oldest cousin. Sorry about that. I did not acknowledge that in chat. This is kind of more of an informative stream, just kind of talking about some stuff. So, if we take this one here, let me move it back here. This one here, and we scroll over to the mic gain. First, let's bring this down. It was at -48, so it would take 12 decibels to do that. Okay. Now, 60 decibels of gain now puts me up into the good section, right? So you would think that it would be fine. Now this needs to be a little bit higher, but yeah. Okay, so let's just say this is about back where it was. Now, here's what irritates me to no end. So if I put this back at -20, I'm back up about where I was. Put this at 5. This is approximately where I was before. Now, I'm about the width of my hand away. Sounds fine, right? But now, when I get on top of the microphone, let's make sure it's still, yeah, saved. See how, yeah, look at that. And I'm not even talking that loud. Now, here's my big issue. Whenever you look online, it's like, oh yeah, the SM7B requires 60 decibels of gain. No, it doesn't. Because you hear that? That's not a good sound. That sound is not, it's not good at all. That's a peaking sound. And especially people that yell like super loud. Now you notice the actual volume is not that bad. Or you want to get really on top of the microphone. You hear how it's just peaking like that. All you got to do, just use more makeup gain. And now it's back to here. 48 decibels, because you can boost it after everything. So when you're on the microphone talking loud, or you're yelling really loud, doesn't peak. Now that little bit of kind of like distortedness, that's just my voice. That's not actually the mic. But yeah, don't overdo this gain, especially for people that use the smaller windscreen, which makes your mouth actually closer to the capsule when you're right on it. When they're right here, they just peak the crap out of it, because if they're talking in a normal volume, like their normal speaking voice, it's fine. But when they get louder, that's when the issues come in. Those subtle touches. Yeah. I'm just saying, if you want to invest the money to get a nice mic, to get a nice interface and stuff like that, invest the time to get it right. And I'm not boasting or anything, but although I bought this one on sale, I actually bought this and the GoXLR for less than what they normally go for. The mic is normally a $400 microphone. I got it for $360. The GoXLR is like $450 to $500. I got it for like $415-ish. That was including shipping. And not even counting the $130 mic arm, which isn't necessary. I just figured if I'm going to get something like that, I need something that'll support a bunch of different mics. And I actually got this when I got the pod mic. So that's just my biggest complaint. Now, you don't need this audio. You don't need this equipment, okay? It does not take that much to get good sounding audio. For example, if I go to my channel and I go to the live streams, let's go back to here. Is this with the other mic? That's with the pod mic. Oh. Yeah. My mom did mine. It's not really useful for plants. It's mainly useful for like trees.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait. Okay.
Because I've been putting them in the chest in case one gets broken. Please.
I need to fill out this entire map. This is going to take forever. Now I'm going to stop it there. That microphone, this mic right here. Let me make this a little bigger. Okay, this mic, not counting the shock mount and the mic filter or the pop filter, which for one of these mics I would recommend getting one like this, not a foam one, because usually the foam ones are kind of poo-poo, and it's better visibly wise than a big, disc shaped one. I think the total was something like. It's like 70 or 80 bucks. That's a whole mic package. Comes with a hard mount stand. I mean the spider mount, which is its own brand, Samsung with an N, not a G at the end, an N at the end. And that was probably, I don't know, 20 bucks, 15. And then the mic pop filter was not that much, maybe 10 bucks. So say I got all of it for $100, all of it. Oh, and the mic arm was like probably like 20 or 30 bucks. It's actually a really nice, pretty usable mic arm. It's not to the quality of something like this, because this is a Rode PSA 1 Plus, which is the newer one. But my biggest thing with the cheap mic arms is they're just not big enough. I actually mount my mic arm at the back of my desk. Now, this desk is bigger than the one I had before. This is a 30-inch deep desk. The one that's at, in that video is a 24-inch desk. Okay. The Rockville one that I got, it does take a little bit to ship. It's not a super huge item, but it's a 40-inch mic arm. Most of the other ones are like 30, 32-inch mic arms, which is a big difference because each one of these arms is about 20 inches on the Rockville and on this one. And that basically, this thing can get all the way out here. Like, It's past my, and it's in the corner too. It's past my desk. Okay. A 30-inch one wouldn't even get past my desk, even if it was straight on. It wouldn't get out here far enough. And I would super highly recommend getting one that you can mount at the back of your desk. Makes a huge difference, because now instead of having it coming this way or this way, let me switch over here. Instead of having it come down like on the sides, it comes up sort of in the middle, but off to the left a little bit, because it comes in between two monitors. It comes in between them. So I can lift my hands up. I can just lift them up. I can reach over here. I can reach over here without having to worry about bumping into the mic arm. It's really nice. Now, it does have some disadvantages, but as a whole, it's pretty nice. And actually, the new Elgato LP mic arm, the low profile one, is actually really cool. It's not as useful for me because I have a lot of stuff sit on my desk and it's just not tall enough to clear that. So I wouldn't use it for that, but something like this, the Rode mic arm can get almost completely parallel with the desk on the back arm. And then this can come up like that. So if you needed to, you can use one of these arms kind of as a low profile arm. It's pretty nice. Plus, this one I actually custom ran the cable. I unsoldered the end and like ran it through the arm, so it looks a little nicer. I didn't think you'd get this much subscribers so quickly. Okay. The best builders and fabricators know their equipment and make it work to what they need it, if that makes sense. Yeah. It just, I don't know. If it might just be me, but I know, like, even Tristan, Peak EPO2, which is his YouTube channel, he completely agrees with me. He's like, what? You know, he has it's a Samsung Q2U. Highly recommend that mic. Great mic for the price. You can get the whole thing. It's got a little like tube extension to get it off your desk a little more with the little tripod stand, and a foam windscreen, which is okay. All that for 70 or 80 bucks. And the thing is it's USB and XLR. So before you get an interface, you could use it for USB and then connect it to a XLR interface. And you don't even need to change mics. It's super nice. So I would really highly recommend it. So my only issue with USB mics is sometimes with certain games it likes to boost your microphone. You know what I'm talking about? It's like, oh, you want to have this microphone at maximum volume? Sure, let's go ahead and do that. So if you're on Windows 10, I don't have a Windows 11 computer or laptop, so I can't really try it on there, but I would highly recommend a software called Equalizer APO. And there were some so there's a guy on YouTube, I think his YouTube channel is like the Franz Studio or something like that. And he does a pretty good explanation on how it works. I would not follow his settings, specifically for like his compression, for his multiband compression and the normal compressor, because he has two multiband compressors and one normal compressor. Those are fine. Like that's okay. That's fine. That's what I use most of the time. I actually adjusted mine a little bit, but it's fine. Now, you don't need, first of all, having noise suppression, especially something like that that's not RTX voice or anything like that, kind of sounds terrible. Like, it really does not sound good at all, especially to someone that I would much prefer to hear a little bit of room noise or a little bit of fan noise, but have the full quality of someone's voice, not be kind of warbly or anything like that, because that to me sounds awful. Now, you can all have your own opinions. I don't care. To me, sounds terrible. I hate it, because it basically sounds like you're just almost talking underwater sometimes. So Noise gate, that's a big one. A lot of people should have that, especially anyone that, well, it's kind of going to sound stupid, but has a keyboard or fan noise or anything like that, because then your mic is only on in a way when you speak, if you set it up right. And I would not follow his EQ. On my voice, it sounded kind of terrible. And then I did my own, just messing, trying to find good spots. And it sounded like this. It sounded like the video you were just watching of my earlier streams. So it really does not take that much money to get good audio. You just have to do it right. You just have to take the time to watch some tutorials, or if you're able to, try and figure some of it out on yourself. EQ is usually like, I think that's something that most people can hear. Like, okay, if my voice sounds like this and it sounds all nasally and stuff, clearly there's something wrong in the EQ. And basically what you do is you just take a very narrow band and you just sweep it up and down until you find it, cut that out, can fix a lot of issues. So I used Equalizer APO. I used his compression settings, but I did not use his EQ or noise gate setting. He also used a downward expander along with the noise gate, which I still don't understand the reason for, because the whole purpose of a noise gate is to completely cut out stuff. So if he has a downward expander before the noise gate, it doesn't do anything. I don't know. I never used the downward expander. I tried it, didn't like the way it sounded, and actually a big one. It can take a little bit to sync up your camera with it, but it sounds so much better. There is a pre-open on the noise gate. They're Reaper plugins, by the way. And basically, if you set that to like 100 milliseconds, basically what it does is it delays your audio 100 milliseconds to where, say you go, hello, 100 milliseconds before that hello, it opens. So when you have an S or something that's like a buildup, not a T or anything that's just immediate, it actually can capture the whole thing. And you can put it up to however much you want. I put it up to 100, but it makes it sound so much better. So like with my other settings, listen to an S when I'm not loud enough. So a little bit before that. Yeah, that first part of the S is slightly cut off because the GoXLR doesn't have that setting, which is kind of annoying, but it's fine. So for the gate on here, I have my gate really low because I don't have a bunch of extra noise, and because this mic it's not a very roomy mic. Like, it doesn't pick up the keyboard very bad. Doesn't really pick that up. So I would just do some research. Like, DM me on Twitter. Seriously, I will. If any of you need help, I can figure it out for your voice. It's really, well, I'm not going to down anyone, but for me, it's not that difficult. It's just some simple software. And like, there's one guy, I wonder if I can pull up his Twitch. Let's see.
Let him be the tip of the spear. You can.
Yeah, some Bob Live. I wonder if his mic is still the same. Well, it's Huh, well, he doesn't have his settings applied anymore. That's that's annoying. Sometimes you just have to check it before you go live and before you start a bunch of applications. If you need your mic to be EQ'd with equalizer APO, you have to make sure it's still selected, because sometimes, like if you disconnect it or something, I don't know what happens, but sometimes it just gets disconnected from the software, and then you have to select again, restart your computer, and then it's there. Why? I have no freaking idea. All right, when did I do that? I'm trying to see if there's a clip, because I did this in like December. I think I helped him. That's weird. Is there any highlights? No, there's none. Okay. Well, that sucks. Anyways, he had a, I would don't buy a Blue Yeti. Don't buy a USB Blue microphone. They make great XLR mics, okay? You don't need to buy a USB one. A Blue Yeti, or even the newer ones, some of the Blue Yeti Nanos or the Blue Yeti X Pro or whatever, you don't need to buy them, because the other thing that I found with his mic, which he had one, is the Logitech software was trying to do its own effects, which is kind of garbage in comparison. And I kept having, he had to like turn his volume like way down. With my C01U Pro, I had it at 70 in the sound control panel for the gain, because that's your mic gain, is you change it in there. I had it at 70 and it rarely ever peaked. But the thing with a USB mic is if you set the gain to where your peaking is about -10, like -15 to -10 without compression, the compression's not going to do anything. It's going to prevent it from getting a whole lot louder. But because that initial input, because basically the compressor just compresses everything after the initial input. Normally on an XLR compressor is it actually takes down the gain. It actually will bring it down a little bit, so it stops it from peaking. Well, with a USB mic, it can't do that. It doesn't control it like that. So what you want to do is set your gain way lower than you think. I think that my C01U Pro without any effects was down at like, when I talk normally, it was like -40 to -30, something like that. Like we're low. Because when I got loud and really was loud, it would get up to -15, -10. Sometimes it would peak when I was really loud. But here's the thing. When you use compression, you can bring that up after the fact. Because if you have the gain turned up, the gain turned up initially, gosh, I can't talk. You can't stop it from peaking afterwards. Have it low and then bring it up in post, because then you're not going to peak. Then if you have a limiter at the top and your mic's always right here, whenever it goes past that, yeah, it peaks, but the volume stays here. It still sounds like garbage. Whereas if it's down here, right? And when you really get loud, it comes up to here. Then when you bring your normal part up to here, when you get loud, it just comes up to here. And then it doesn't peak, because it doesn't peak initially. Because you can only work with what you get initially. Once it peaks on USB mic, you cannot change that. So anyways, I hope this was informative. I know this was kind of a long stream. It's been 50 minutes for this kind of informative stream. Anyways, what is making sound? What's happening? What is happening? What is making sound? I have a little bit of like audio coming through system, but I don't know what it is. Huh, that's weird. Okay, whatever. Okay. So, just if you're peaking, turn down your gain. You can always bring it up afterward with either real-time software or in post if you're editing a video. Okay, there's no point in trying to get it up initially using just gain, because then once it peaks, there's nothing you can do to correct it afterward. There's literally nothing you can do. Okay, I should say clipping. It's clipping. Okay, once you clip it, there's nothing you can do. Okay, so don't turn your gain up too high on the GoXLR. If you need it to be louder, do it with the makeup gain, and don't let it only let it in the very little bits go above -10. You don't really want it above -5. If it goes up there like every once in a blue moon, it's fine. Okay, and I would suggest using a noise gate if you need to, because the other thing is, if you like kind of breathe through your nose a lot, it's kind of loud. Use a noise gate. First YouTube video I ever didn't use a noise gate. Actually, I think a couple of them, and literally you can hear my breathing, and I didn't know what to do. I didn't even really notice it until the video was posted, and it doesn't sound good, especially when you're streaming and you can't really edit out the parts in between where you're just kind of sitting there, well, breathing, hopefully. Then it's very noticeable. But noise gate, not too much gain, and just play with it. Like, if you really can't figure it out, and I'm not downing you, I'm not trying to say that, but if you can't figure it out, there's so many tutorials. And here's the thing, what I've done is I've actually used a little bit of information from a lot of different ones. And what I would recommend is, if you're looking for something with the GoXLR, I wouldn't necessarily look at GoXLR tutorials. What I would look at is audio tutorials, because the GoXLR can do some of what a DAW can do, like an audio DAW. But if you know kind of how and where the different zones are for EQ, or how compression works, then you can kind of convert that to the GoXLR menu. So anyways, if you have any questions, leave a comment on this video or DM me on Twitter. I will respond. And if you need help, I can get in a call with you on Discord. I can help. Okay? I can help. Trust me. I can figure it out. So, okay. Well, I need to go do some things, and I am going to hopefully stream tomorrow. I think tomorrow with Tristan I'm going to be streaming, so yeah. Okay. Well, it was nice sharing this information with you, and I hope you have a good rest of your day or night. All right, bye-bye.